Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're doing a series right now. I'm losing track of the number, but this is going to be on flipping cars. This is very, very important. Yesterday I started the series on how to actually appraise a car. We did the exterior. This afternoon we'll be doing the under the hood, and it's actually going to have a few different sections. Meanwhile, while that's going on, I have this other one where we're going to continuous education on how to flip rides at a profit, basically, and I'm trying to teach you the correct way that needs to be done. And there's more to it than just buying the car. You must understand what it takes, the psychology behind it. Now today what we're going to be discussing is, why do people buy cars? Well, they need them. Okay, actually there's three reasons why people buy vehicles. And there's three things that you will have to be able to isolate when you purchase a vehicle. In the back of your mind, you need to know which category this is going to fall into, because it's going to depend on how much money you spend on that class of vehicle. Now the three things that are important is called need, greed, and fear. Those are the three reasons people buy vehicles, period. I don't care who you are, what reason it is. That's the only reason that people buy vehicles, period. Think about yourself. The last car you bought, you either needed it, it was such a good deal so you were greedy, or you were scared that you weren't going to be able to find the same price, or wouldn't be able to find something that fit your needs, so you just took it out of fear. That's the only reasons that people buy cars like that. Now, how does that come into effect? Well, different vehicles serve different purposes. I.e., you're looking at a vehicle right now, and you're like, well, this vehicle doesn't really fit a quick sell demographic. In other words, we had one of our viewers today talking about he's actually stationed in the Mojave Desert at a remote Air Force, or I'm not sure if it's Air Force, but I know he's in the Army, but whatever, it might be an Army base. And he was talking about the limit lots there at the, they've got them all over the country. If you're in the military, you know what we're talking about. Right outside there's a place where everybody selling their car drops them off. And he was mentioning, okay, yeah, you know what, you know, you're right, car guy, you're pretty much on the money, because the ones that haven't sold, and he goes through the list of this Crown Vic, which is big SUVs, they tend to sit. So this comes a huge factor when you're buying the car initially. So if you're going to be supplying a need, you can be more based on the book value. In other words, if Kelley Blue Book, I'm just keeping it simple, Kelley Blue Book's fare is $2,000. The really clean Kelley Blue Book is $3,000, and you know there's two or three numbers in between, but $2,000 to $3,000 is what you're dealing with. Okay, and you know that someone's going to need this car based on its gas mileage, its size. Where you're at, there's a lot of people doing transportation, or you know, doing a lot of miles back and forth, and they just need cars they can run miles on for the commute. Okay, then when you look at it, you'll be like, okay, I'm pretty secure that I can buy this car, so the bottom number is $2,000. I could probably come up to, I don't know, depending on the profit level, maybe $1,500, $1,400. And then you could sell it for $2,500, because you know this is a need vehicle. You don't have to take a high risk, because someone's going to need it. Alright, I've pretty much got that clear, so you can afford to go a little deeper for something people are going to be using, and it's going to supply a need. Work trucks is another example if you're out in Texas. It depends on where you're at and what your demographics are, but you kind of get the feeling. You know what everybody needs where you're at. I'm sure if you're in Alaska and have a four-wheel drive, you can go ahead and pay a little more because people need it. Alright, let's get into the greed factor. What does greed mean? Greed is very simple. People buy it based on it's too much of a good deal to pass up. What kind of car would that be? Well, technically it could be any kind of car, but more than likely you're going to be dealing with something very sporty, with a huge book value that's kind of cold. Let me give you an example. A green Corvette. Green Corvettes are worth less money than a red Corvette sitting side by side at same year, same miles, same everything, the green Corvette won't sell. The red Corvette's going to blow out of there with no problem. So how do you sell a green Corvette? You have to base it on greed. Somebody's going to make a monetary gain based on a loss, perceived losses you're taking on a car. So that Corvette, let's say that it has a book value of $2,000. Go ahead and put that on pause. So that Corvette's going to have a $2,000 book value. But it's green. No one likes it. So how are you going to sell it? Alright, this is where the greed factor. Now you as a car guy have to make the determination that, hey, I've got to buy this cheaper than anybody else on planet Earth because I'm going to have to sell it cheaper than anybody else, because the only way this car is going to go is if somebody's greedy and they can deal with the color and they know that they're stealing the car. That would be a factor why someone would buy the vehicle. I think you kind of get the picture, right? Alright, so now the next picture that we have to paint for you is fear. Why do people buy out of fear? It's simple. Let's say someone's not really emotionally attached to anything. They had a 2000, I'm just going to throw a car out there. Let's just say somebody had a 2000 Honda 4-door Civic. It gets crunched in an accident, and their insurance company is only going to do X amount of dollars, and they have to find one with 150,000 miles on it, and you happen to be the only guy with one on it. That's going to make their deal work, so they're scared they're going to lose it. You know, that's why people would buy out of fear. Another thing is they're scared their bank's only going to give them so much money, and they're going to take what they can get. Maybe they have bad credit, and you're the only deal in town, so they're going to buy the car out of default because they're scared they're not going to get anything else. So there you have it, guys. 3 reasons why people buy cars: need, greed, and fear. That's it. There's no magic solution. You're not a great car salesman. You're not God's gift to communication on delivering people vehicles. People have 3 reasons they buy cars. Now, if you're very nice to them, and I'll teach you how to sell them very shortly if you keep up with the series, but as long as you can identify that person's need, if they're a need, greed, or fear buy, and if you can identify the car, what kind it's going to be when you buy it, the best one, the most profitable ones are cars you buy that are specifically for the need. In other words, I'd rather have 50 cars that got great gas mileage in a commuter town that drives, the average person's driving like from here, they'd be in the Northern Virginia working, or DC, commuter car, commuter car, commuter car, that's what people want. Then I would be having 50 Corvettes, because Corvettes it's a hard sell, man. You got to have money to play the game. The only way you're going to sell it easy is if the price is right and you can actually steal it. Yes, if you're a Chevrolet dealer, people are coming to you to find a Corvette. There's a few people out there that'll look for it. But basically, it's harder to sell a brand new Corvette than it is a Honda Accord. Just based on, there's a lot more need for one particular segment. If you're in a truck market, or if you're in a soccer mom area, minivans might take that role. 4-wheel drives, you're going to have to personally decide what the need is in your area, or what you're specifically going to supply. I will give you this word of advice: if you try to jump all over the board and you're doing trucks, SUVs, sports cars, blah, 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 yes, your inventory is going to look great, but you're going to suffer financially because you're not going to be able to supply everybody's needs. Occasionally, you may go into a different area that normally you wouldn't go into, just based on trade-in. Maybe you were able to get a really good deal on something out of what you normally sell. In that case, drift on over. But guys, you heard it first from the car man. Need, greed, and fear. Identify what your cars are and identify what your buyers are, because that's where the money's at. If you just don't cross them. You've got to understand those 3 demos or sections or whatever you want to call them. What do we want to call them, Lolly? You're the college-educated genius here.
The demographic?
Yeah, demographic type of people, but basically, guys, you want to identify what your car falls into and what your buyer falls into. And listen, if you're an individual out there, a private individual, identify what kind of buyer you are, because then you'll be able to make better sense out of getting a good deal. If you know, hey, listen, I'm a need buyer, this is what I need, take the emotions out of it. Let's get down to dollars and cents and get down to isolate exactly what you need. If you're a car buyer professionally, you know what you need. Don't stop at all the new Corvettes coming through. Jump on over to the little gas savers and man up and just get done what you need to get done, and stop fantasizing over here in the bad lane. You need to be in the good lane getting what you're supposed to get. Anyway, love you guys. Getting ready to do one on, car related. We're actually going to power wash under a hood. Nothing to do with flipping car series, but love you guys, man. Got lots of stuff coming. I've decided I'm going to be the biggest car channel on planet Earth. May take a couple weeks, I'm not sure, but whatever. Subscribe, support your troops. Jen loves you guys. Hopefully we get her in the next video or two. Peace out.